And we hit 364 on BIAF, 367 actually. I think, 0.08, the 7/8 are an okay spot for you to take profits underneath each 10-cent level. I wouldn't get so greedy as to go for the 0.9s. It makes no difference. You're just trying to create a process that works. You're not trying to maximize your move like that. You're not, you don't want to have greed get too heavy-handed, be too heavy-handed in your is good, but not at the expense of. How's the weather down in Florida? I haven't moved there yet, but yeah, I've been watching live streams and stuff, so frankly, it doesn't look too bad. But it does allow me to realize, but I've already thought about this and realized it, but that I need to, when I do get a place down there, it ought to be, concrete structure, not some old wooden house. But anyway, that's next year. If things go exactly as I've planned, and in fact, they've been going better than I planned, then I'll be able to buy 2 or 3 condos next year at the end of the summer. Could be even better than that. Who knows? But that's good. And I've actually even been tossing around the idea of a bunch of studio or 1-bedroom condos. So the sort of bell curve peaks at around 2 bedrooms as far as return on investment for cash flow. But also it's nice to diversify, so there's some things to be said about diversification. I could buy 5, 6 studios, which is 2 or 3 2-bedrooms. That could work out a little more smoothly. If you have an issue with one, it keeps the compartmentalization of that down to 1/5, let's say, of an impact in the moment, having an impact. And just got a signal to go long again on the market. See if this one takes. So BIAF, back a little bit. Your current pivot exit on BIAF though is 336. All right, let's go over the market, shall we? So the Qs and S&P 500 dipped below June's lows. However, they closed in price. Actually, come to look at it now, and I'm examining it a little bit more closely. That was only overnight. As far as the market open goes, the Qs did not dip below June's lows. So we haven't broken June's lows yet in the growth markets, but we did on the S&P 500. However, what I was going to say is we closed above those lows. So it's not really a definitive breakdown enough for most people to be exiting their swing positions. Usually it can take 1, 2, 3 days of closes below those prior lows before it really flushes out all of the swing traders and a lot of the short-term to medium-term traders, investors. But so that hasn't happened. So we're still essentially kind of double bottoming here, and that can be very powerful. If it behaves as a double bottom, that could catapult this all the way back up to, along this edge here and more. but I mean, the first resistance then would be something like 391 on the S&P 500. And then if we were to break that, we go back to the other pivot at 411. And if we were to break that, we'd be testing 430. So a double bottom here could be really worth the reward on that, could be really worth the risk, because the risk, you could just exit at, the 52-week low, which is right nearby. It's like 4 points away. But the reward could be 40 points plus. So you're talking about a 10-to-1 right here. I mean, this is a real sweet spot to try and risk something. The probability of it working out, nobody knows for certain. But with a 10-to-1 reward to risk ratio, you only need it to work out 9% of the time, 1/11th. So it's a winning bet right here. This is like when the lotto rose to $1 billion, and it's 303 million to 1 odds. So that's a 3-to-1 return, EV wise, expected value on your bet. You could put 303 million, buy up all the numbers, and you'd win and you get 3-to-1. But it doesn't matter, even if you buy $1 or $2 or $5 worth or whatever, you're actually subjecting your money to 3-to-1 expected value. Kind of an interesting way how the math works in risk reward analysis. So anyway, this is a great spot to try to get into some things that you think might hold. If the market holds, and there's even just a 9% chance that it holds, that's a winning trade, because it could eventually go up quite far from here. You got to be willing to lose money, and you don't bet everything. You got to understand the 1% rule and how to size your bets. But you would exit absolutely on a breakdown of the 52-week lows on the market, or, like I said before, wait for the close on that day to be below that 52-week low. Oh, you already got Robo? All right. All right. There we go. Is that better? Are we back? Thank you. All right. So we've got 9 minutes to the open, and we are looking at some decent prospects here. For the momentum small cap day trading, we've got ABOS, ABOS. Grab everybody who's watching. I'm only going to go through each of these once, as it is. So grab a pencil and jot these down fast. We're going to blast through these. ABOS is failing VWAP a bit. If it can get back up over 9, I would wait for it to break 9. If it can break 9, I like the trade. And then you would put your stop at about 8.25, so 75 cents of risk on ABOS. Entries at 9, pre-entries at 9. The breakout is around 10. BIIB is also failing VWAP, very similar setup. I need to see it reclaim 300. It's exactly 300. It's funny, these levels, are so rounded, but that's the psychology of trading. 300 with a stop. If it can break 300, there's an entry on BIIB. It's got to break it. With a stop, I'd risk your stop down to 285. So $15 a risk, so you're expecting $30 a reward. So you hope it hits 330 for a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio. It catches on fire at 308. So if it can get over 300, that's a pre-entry, and then pre-market high break of 308 really would set it on fire. Keep an eye on PTWOW, PTWOW, PTWOW. Those are warrants. Who knows? They might double today, but you do have a risk of about 50% loss. So you're going to have to manage your downside and cut it really quickly if it doesn't work out. But if it does work out, you could have quite a bit of reward sitting there for you. Silo completely faded out. PRTA is another one we're watching. PRTA, similar pre-market open fade below VWAP on PRTA, just like ABOS and BIIB. We're looking for it to break 51.50. If it can break 51.50, that would be a cheat entry. The pre-market high is 53, but an entry at 51.50 would be good.
And breakdown would be 49. You would not want to see it break below 49. That'd be your stop. So that's $2.50 of risk. You need $5 of reward. That puts you at 56.50 for the 2-to-1 to make it a viable trade. LGVN. Somebody's going, shit, I should have gotten a pen. Yeah, too bad. You snooze, you lose. All right, and then LGVN is dropping below VWAP considerably. Has broken mini pivots. It absolutely needs to reclaim 530 in order for me to be interested, in order for the momentum to pick up, in order to interest a lot of people. 530. If it does do that, then you can set your stop at 490. So that puts you at 40 cents of risk. That is a cheat entry. 40 cents of risk, so you're looking for 80 cents a gain. At 530 would be 610 would be the ultimate price target to get a 2-for-1. Of course, you got to take profits all along the way underneath round numbers. What else we got? NNOX does not look too good. MOR, did we already go over BIAF? BIAF is probably our best looking prospect this morning. It's the only one still hanging above VWAP. It is currently 350, and you'd need to risk basically down to this demand zone area here, just below VWAP. I'm going to say 3. It looks like $3. Risk to $3. So it's 55-cent entry here. If it does just fly on the open and breaks 365, that's the pre-market high break, 365. You could wait for that entry as a signal. And then if you did, then you could set your stop to 340. So a nice 15 cents of risk there. And then you only have to get 30 cents gain or 395, which sounds very plausible to me on a reward to risk ratio to get a 2-for-1 return on BIAF. Oh, there it goes. It already happened right before our eyes. Who got in? There it is, 371. It hits 363 right now. It broke 365. You set your risk to 3. What did I say? 340 on the downside, about 15 cents of risk. Okay, it's hanging at 365, but you got that buffer zone to your stop. And that looks good right before the open. BIAF probably looks like one of our best prospects. The market is trying to take off of that megaphone pattern. Let's see if I can pull that up. Maybe over on in. All right, we got this megaphone pattern here on the market, and it's trying to back bounce and back test after poking out of that megaphone pattern, but it is putting a triple top, which is good. It's better than a double top. So there is some prospect that, you don't get triple tops as often as double tops. So a triple top is a sign that a particular side is getting tested more often than is natural, because a double top is much more natural. Single top too. But triple top means maybe we will break to the upside on the market. You certainly would want to watch that for the megaphone back test, because megaphones like this do signal trend reversals. So this is a signal that we are at the bottom of a trend, at whatever prevailing trend was going on in the higher time frame. So, and what we're talking about basically is that downtrend. Again, that supports the theory that we may be double bottoming across the entire market for this year, and that, well, the lows might stick, and we might rip from here for the next month or two. We'll see. We'll see. Could be choppy. Definitely could be choppy. So set your risk properly. All right, we've got about 2.5 minutes until the open, and a lot of things to watch. BIAF, I think, is happening right now. Again, still going. All right, yeah, I was hanging out around 365-ish, which was that entry there. And we're watching all the other stocks in lifetime here, so we'll see what happens. ABOS, BIIB, PTWOW, Silo, PRTA, LGVN, NNOX, MOR, and BIAF. So far, BIAF, the best prospect and opportunity. And then second to that is the potential for the market to be at an excellent risk reward to risk point here for entry on some stocks long, Tesla being one of them, and obviously Apple being another, as far as if you wanted to get into something for the next 30 to 90 days, if this is indeed the bottom. Hurricane party, yeah, is it getting worse, Mark, or is it kind of holding steady? Mark on the TikTok. 40-mile-per-hour winds. All right. Batten the hatches. 1 minute and what is that? 1 minute? Hang on, let me see if that's a 2 or a 0. Okay. Less than 1 minute to the open on the market right now. Watching BIAF and the market. It's getting stronger. Okay. All right. Well, fingers crossed that everything that it doesn't do too much damage. Oh, by the way, gold has been ripping off the 1620 level to now 1650, but that's just a short-term intraday move. Gold remains in a downtrend bearish, and so does oil, and oil ripped a little bit too. FYI, oil's at almost $80 a barrel. All right, market opens in 20 seconds. Prospects looking strong for the market. We have a lot of Fed talks all day long. Here we go. 4, 3, 2. Yep, it's loud. BIAF tightening up. I expect some volatility at the open. Remember, 340 is your stop. And 371 will be a pre-market high breakout. The market gingerly selling off. Gingerly. Anything can happen in the first 5 minutes. You really do got to just let the first 5 minutes play out before you form thesis for at least the next 30 minutes. Morning, Adam. Did you see my message? All right, the market now back up over the open and being bought up. That's a breakout. That would be BIAF. That's the breakout on BIAF. That ring there. Ring was the breakout at 371 of pre-market highs. It's now hitting 380, 384, 383. Doing good. Duncan, I just spoke about it a lot, even twice. So, the risk reward here for a long on the market, very good. The market ripping to the downside now very strongly. So it was gingerly down and then gingerly up, and now it's much more aggressively down as far as volume is concerned. All good, right on. All right, we hit 390 on BIAF. PRTA, we already broke over the key levels on PRTA, and there goes BIAF. It's hitting almost $4 now. That does give you that 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio. We just broke $4, 404. That cleared out the $4 level. And it will likely now be able to get some support at that $4 level. No, we're pulling back pretty hard there. PRTA, let's take a quick look at it because that definitely just broke out. Okay, it broke out, it faked out, pulled back into the nest. It's at 50.44. Remember, the stop on that needs to be basically 49, if you remember what I said in pre-market. Let's go back to BIAF. BIAF is still hanging out or in the 390s, looking all right. All right, BIF starting to gain some demand. It is having trouble breaking the $4 level. No, there it goes. 410, almost 409. There's 412, 415. So now you need to be taking profits underneath every 25-cent level now that we're up above threes. I believe that's correct. Let's see. No, it's underneath every 10-cent level. But, the momentum that it's got here, you should be pretty safe going underneath every 25-cent level. And besides, ATR in it is 68 cents. 418 and looking very strong. 420 on BIAF. Should blast through to 424-ish in a moment here if this continues. All right, we're getting some first pullback there, some first sell-off. Seems a bit early. I'd more likely see that at 420. 424, 423. But okay, so it's probably likely going to return back to 4 and retest 4 now. That's okay. Backtest strengthens the trend. Your current stop right now can be 345. And then you're taking partial profits along the way. PRTA has got a very wide bid ask, 51 on the bid. It was 50-50 a minute ago, and they asked 51.40. A very wide bid ask, so it could be quite thin. Let me float. Let me check here. Float million. That doesn't seem to equal what we're seeing here. I'm guessing the volume is just way too low. Yeah, on PRTA. I don't think that's really going to go anywhere. Famous last words, right? Keep an eye on it. We're keeping an eye on it. But expectations should be for failure on the PRTA. Meanwhile, BIAF is holding just fine. 413, 414 area. It's like LGVN failing hard. Perhaps BIIB will create a dip buy around VWAP. So keep an eye on BIIB for that. Yes, yes, we can definitely scale into trades. Those trades we scale into are not typically, almost never, breakout type trades. They're more of scaling into a base, but it's the same opportunities. It's just then a particular stock has it's doing consolidation, but it has a lot of prospect. And so you can average in on the low end during when there's moments that are flushes, sort of like buying the flush down, buying the bottom of the flush downs. And that might take 2 or 3 or 4 average ins. And wherever you're at, leave it there once it starts moving in the right direction. It starts to perk up. Just do not average in anymore. Keep your average low. Do not dilute your average. Once the thing is moving in your direction, keep it there. Don't worry about how much money you make. Worry about making a good ratio of a win to your risk, to your average cost. All right, checking back in on BIAF. I see that it's pulling back all the way to 388 now. It's still in trade, though. Current stop is 346. You could even argue that it's 340 still. 340. I would put it at 340 in case it gets tested. But we should see some support and bounce back around 370 in case it wants to go down and test there. So worst case scenario, support at 370. The float is 7 million as of last reporting. So it could be far less than that. I don't know what the percent short is. but that can change radically on a moment, on a day like today. Okay, the market has pulled back a little bit, but it's kind of hanging in there. Let's take a look at it. So it did fail to back bounce off of the megaphone top. So, you know, the best trade from here, there's two trades from here. Basically short this all the way to the bottom of the megaphone, or wait for it to pop out of the megaphone again and back test again. See if it bounces, and then take a green over red for an entry. I talked myself into it, going short there. Nothing super happening right now. PRTA maybe strengthening. PRTA. It's basically consolidating basing at the 50-80 level. It's currently 51.50. So, you know, you could play that out as a base, like I was just saying, and wait for flush downs and then grab a little average. And that, so PRTA could play out as a scalar. BIAF perking up a little bit off of the 390 level. There was a little micro failed retest neckline breakdown that happened at 403. And so that whole 403 level could be strong resistance right now. Here it's hitting 403 right now, and it couldn't break through. It will need to get up above 407, and we could be on the backside of the trade already. Hard to tell because we're really close. 403 and 407. Very small range that could easily break. But if we do get over 407, we're looking good again. Stop still 340 on BIAF. And you need to be scaling underneath every 10-cent level if you haven't already. Okay, Mark says SOBR and ALZN are having some momentum. Those are, I think, mid and big cap. Let's take a look at them. No, maybe not. Yeah, there's some move happening over on SOBR. Less volume on ALZN. Setup less clear on those, but possible. SOBR and ALZN. If you guys know how to trade, you might want to pull those up. If you know the system. PRTA now at 53.34. That's very nice. Looks like it's going to break the pre-market high of 53.61. Or did it? Did it just break? No, it's very close to breaking the pre-market high. ALZN ripping a bit. Was at 130. Now it's at 135. So ALZN perhaps less momentum, but it did clear the 20% change. SOBR hitting 217, coming from about 182. That's what it looks like. 50,000 shares per minute. Float 8 million. Yeah, it's looking good. SOBR. We were on this a couple days ago. What are you guys in so far? Who's holding what? Let's pull it up. We are 14 minutes into the trading session. Kelly says holding cash. BIAF for Mike. Yep. Oh, it did get up and over 408, so that's good on BIAF, but it did reject. But that's somewhat of a decent sign. And the Labu. Yeah, was that for a day trade though? Yeah, it looks like it. I don't have any information on the float on that one. Amazon doing good. Tesla and Apple not. Float 944K. What did you say? Bought BIAF at 365, sold at 415. Nice. What? Yeah. Are you talking about BIIB? Evan, will you bring back all day live day trading win days like you used to do? Yeah. Why do you like those? Todd, give me the reasoning there. Oof. Apple really scraping bottom. Apple was not a very good sign on the market there on the daily chart. Apple quite weak. Tesla looking a lot better. Also, ENPH, I wanted to take a look at that. Okay. ENPH and energy stocks are very strong, staying and holding quite strong relative strength wise. Netflix is building. Let's see. Okay. Might not be much of a move today. There's a lot of Fed talks going on. Yeah, I got you. Okay. We do have a failed retest forming on BIAF, which could signal an early exit. If it you could already be 50% out of whatever you've got left. And then if it breaks 384 would be a wise exit. Now you can hold that if you wish for it to bounce off of VWAP, for the stop at 340. But I'm saying I think there could be a potential early exit failure going on here, building up here at 383. All right, RJ. It's like being on a trading desk and next to the best. Oh, well, man, that's cool. Thanks. Appreciate that. Definitely not the best in the world. But, yeah, veteran in that sense that I've been around. I've got wounds to show for it. Yeah, Apple not moving with SP 500 or the Qs for sure. A lot of Fed talks coming out happening today. And so the market, I think that's why the market is just holding, just wants to hold right here. Quick glance at PRTA says that would have been a great idea to build in that base there with a stop at 50 or 49 was earlier this morning. 50 and entry at 51.50. It's now at 53.65 and breaking pre-market highs. So I do believe it has the potential to go to 61. There it goes to 54.63. So hopefully you guys built a base around 51.50 when we were talking about it. That's a different kind of trade. It's not the kind of trade where we're going to go, there it goes, get in. It's not a breakout type of trade. It's a consolidation trade to average into a base. So hopefully you did get in the 51-ish cost average area because it's now at 55.20. And with that wide bid ask spread, that's pretty much the only way you'd want to play that anyway. Because you could get creamed in just one move. I think we got that. Yeah, we're starting to break that neckline right now, 383 on BIAF. It's up to you if you'd like to get out, but that is a signal. That is an exit signal. It doesn't look like it's crapped the bed quite yet, so it's up to you. And again, it could hold VWAP, which is 350, and there's really the most realistic stop is still 340 way back, way back. So there's many reasons to see where this goes still as yet. But there's also argument to be said that you could have just cut right there and then you could just let it flush down to the VWAP without you being in it and get back in at a lower average again. But you know, you can only do that if you are a not under the pattern day trading restriction. Yeah, it looks like this is going to be a
alert.
Low volume ranging day. Let's check the volume projections on the day here. It'll be the little gray volume bar that comes up. Come on. All right, daily chart. It's still early. The projection says it's going to be above average volume day, but it's still probably too early for those projections to really stick because it just projects out linearly from current volume. And, you know, as you know, the open is 10 times the volume as midday. All right, for the last 9 minutes here before the top of the hour, I'm happy to take a look at any stocks for anybody. Sava's doing great. Looks like it's the front side of the trade still on Sava. Whoever asked me about that. Meta, incredible relative weakness. I would definitely choose that as a short. You know, in nature, we would just go kill that. We would just go kill it or bite at it. You know, very weak, easy prey. Apple somewhere in the middle now. It's terribly weak looking today. Not sure what's going on with Apple because it's decorrelated with the market. Gold, by the way, continuing to do that intraday rip. But, you know, frankly, I'd just be looking to short it. Not today, but along this edge here, which is essentially lining up with the 20 moving average. So the next short on gold is probably going to be 1680. It's currently 1660, bouncing off of 1620. That's right. Apple iPhone demand is down. Yeah. Their impervious poster boy stock is mortal after all. Snow. Frey. All right, I'll take a look at Frey in a second. Snowflake. We got double top. I've got an alert there waiting for it to break that double top. It has reversed off the bottom. These are good times to get in. It is at a double bottom, which can be a very nice reward to risk spot to get in because you can cut something at like 162. It's at 172 right now. It could be $10 of risk for an entry. The only things I would want to wait to see it break over a previous high. But then first initial targets would be to 240. So from 172, that's almost 80 gain for $10 a risk. That's an 8-to-1, meaning you only have to be right about 11% of the time on that. So there's a whole heck of a whole slew of excellent reward to risk opportunities on the market on a day like today and yesterday. Yesterday, not as good because you don't know whether the bottom's going to keep dropping out on you. But today, we're finding some support on the market. So Frey looks like it's still on the front side of the trade. It did recently get a little bit over exuberant, and that might take some consolidation to get some more price movement. It might not get above $16 until November, Frey. But this is a good spot to get in. I would wait for it to be a green over red, though. Tesla looking good. It's just not a good entry day. But the relative strength-wise, Tesla has held up nice. FedEx looks god-awful. Excellent short. It's in the group of Meta, it's absolutely awful, horribly weak. A dying hyena or ox that's bleeding to death. Anything else? NVIDIA. Really? Do we have to give a shit about NVIDIA still? NVIDIA, total crap, continues to be quite weak. Not quite as weak as Meta or FedEx there, but definitely a bleeder. We got a bleeder here. What's not bleeding is Tesla, ENPH. Yesterday, AMPS popped. Let me take a look at how it's doing today. AMPS is even continuing. I mean, we've got a lot of relative strength on AMPS. I did miss that entry yesterday on AMPS, but we will stay on top of that from here on out. And there we go on PRTA. Hit 59. Who is in it? Hopefully you built up that base at 51.50, 51-ish. All right, Randy says he's in. And I mean, what's your cost average, Randy? Are you a hero or are you mortal? Are you a god? A little late in at 52. Hey, that's excellent. I'm very happy with that number. 52 is back here, guys. Look at that. That's definitely pre-breakout levels. That's building a base. That's risking against the base. That's a consolidation entry. That's the way to play this. That was properly done. 52. And when it's at 59 now, probably be taking little 5% exits underneath every dollar level. I'm sure that's what RJ's been doing. Remember, the 2-to-1 is probably around 61 on this. However, with the $52 entry, where were you thinking as far as your stop? 49 also, or 50? Where were you going to get out? $49. So $3 risk. So $6 for a 2-to-1 from a $52 entry is 58. So he's already hit that 2-to-1. So correct me if I'm wrong, RJ, but you're sitting on more than a 2R right now on that one. Yep. All right. I would have to say that was played out definitely within, the bullseye area of trading. What is it? Little green area around the red bullseye, definitely around there. You want to, ideally, your first year, you want to be hitting the dartboard, not the wall. Eventually, you want to be shooting bullseyes. Yeah, we got a little darts analogy going on this morning, do we? Somebody asked me to look up tops. It's got a reverse split hype move going on right now. Other than that, it doesn't look good. And BIF. I mean, you guys, I think you're telling me to look at stuff for day trades. These are not, any of these day trades are not necessarily good swings. The way it's behaving, BIAF is flagging that it's pullback behavior right now. The way it's behaving. So, and we're coming up to VWAP. So there might be a bounce to a retest of some level. There's a flush downs. That'd be an entry on BIAF, an average cost type entry at VWAP. And it might last a long time. We might hang at these levels for a while. If you could, factor in 3 to 5 entries, there won't be many. 2, 3, pretty much tops flush downs. If it's going to hold base and consolidate at VWAP. All right, guys. I'll be back in a bit. Don't let the market get away from you. Remember to trade setups and patterns. Watch volume for confirmations. If you do get faked out, get out. Anything else I can tell you to keep things going while I'm gone? All right, I'll be back in the group right after the gym and breakfast. Thanks for a great morning, says RJ. See everybody in the Discord. Mike says thank you. So does Mike. We have a lot of mics. Chowder, thank you. Chris says Netflix is trying. Yeah, I just don't think it. Oh, the market is actually making a move to the upside. I'm going to hang out for just another couple minutes here because what I want to see is will it backtest the megaphone? This is what I've been waiting for, and I don't want to miss it. So what I want to see is I want to see pullback. I don't know how long I'll have to wait for that. But there's about a 70% chance of a pullback happening versus it just getting away from me. So 70% chance there. And then on that pullback, I'd like to see on the 5-minute chart, ideally, but perhaps I can get confirmation on the 2-minute or the 1-minute, a green over red type pattern after it's pulled back. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, thanks. Exactly. Mark said, QQQ breakout to the upside. All hands on deck. Meanwhile, Mark's sitting in his house, is going. That's my hurricane.
Alert.
PRTA is at 58. All right, so we're getting some pullback, a little bit more than I was hoping on the market. It's almost completely erased that thrust. Not a great sign. Unless that changes in the next few moments here, then that's going to be it for a good half an hour. Where do I put the countdown to bar close? There we go. Okay, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I'll wait for it. Swirling. You're going to send the video? Cool. Yes. If anybody out there on the live stream, TikTok, wherever wants to join the group, you see the link there. It's kind of hard to read, but just click the link in my bio and then click join now, I think it is. Yeah, so it's flushing down. Good reason to wait for confirmation. In a choppy market, you're going to get ranging. It's not directional. In a directional market, you can grab breakouts because there's some reward there for you. In a choppy market, in a very uncertain market, in a high VIX environment, there's not that kind of directional bias available to you. And so you have to play reversals more, and you're going to need to wait for confirmations more and back tests. It's more likely than not that the result will not be directional in an environment where what's going on is not directional. It's easy when you start to think about it, but these are the things that you don't even realize you need to think about as a day trader in your first year or first year of training. But yeah, you need to know what kind of market you're in, ranging or directional. And it can flip to a directional on you. And then it's directional. And then by the time you get, you're able to take an action on the directional move, it goes back to ranging. And so it's very dangerous, to try to even attempt to trade much in an environment, a high VIX environment like this. Let's see. And yep, we've completed that candle and it's looking not likely. All right, guys, have a good one and talk to you in a little bit. Everybody head into the member chat area. And really, if you're momentum day trading, in the momentum channel. Any alerts will go out at the end of the day. We always wait for the last 45 minutes of the market to put out end of day alerts. So I think good analogy there is poker. It's the difference between being behind the button and being on the button. You want position, and at the end of the day, that's where you get your position. You've got all the information in front of you. Right now, we do not. We're behind the button as far as swing trades go. Okay, guys. See you in a bit. Thank you. Later. Head and shoulder on SPY. 1 minute. Okay. Yeah, I just, be careful. Chop zone.